Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Young, for this very important speech about the financial aspects. That is a very, very important element, of course, also for the future investment in wind power. Now, I have special pleasure also to welcome Mr. Amjad Ali Awan, the CEO of the Alternative Energy Development Board, the key agency here in Pakistan in the development and promotion of wind power, renewable energy in general, and we are very happy to have you here, and also very grateful, as Peter Ray has already mentioned, for all the support that you've been given to having this conference here. And now I have the pleasure to invite you to give your keynote speech.
And allow me some time. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Mr. Peter Ray, President, World Wind Energy Association, a Marshal Dad Mr. Shahid Hamid, Honorary Vice President, WWEA, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's all privilege is mine to be here. It's my sheer honor to be here on this event, and I would like to congratulate WWEA team, and I would like to mention specifically about Air Marshal Shahid and his team, who made it and who have been the key counterpart in organizing this event, the 17th World Wind Energy Conference in Pakistan and Karachi. Ladies and gentlemen, energy is deemed as a driving seat of the economy and a linchpin to economic development. You cannot develop a strong economy at the cost of your energy insecurity. And similarly, you cannot ensure energy security without having a strong and solid base of the economy. So these both factors, energy and economy, are susceptible to each other, influence each other. So whenever to develop any national strategy for economic development, energy must be the key consideration inside that. And we have to strategize energy in such a way to ensure smooth supply, to feed the demand in current situation and future perspective in a sustainable way, in the most affordable way. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to highlight that the last century we witnessed moderate fossil fuel prices. And there were many reasons behind that, but one of the key reasons was very stunning. And that reason was to hide the alternative energy resources from the radar of research and development. That actually happened. And we witnessed, and that actually resulted the delay in terms of the change or shift in terms of the sustainable energy resources like wind energy and biomass and geothermal, because those energy resources, fossil fuels, were given you at moderate price, and it actually intoxicated the energy market in the world. But now the situation has changed. In 2017, renewables count for 70% of the net additions in the power generation capacity in the world. Out of that, 55% share goes to solar, 29% share goes to wind, and rest to other energy resources like hydro and other things, other factors. In year 2016, the investment in the renewable energy in the world actually doubled the fossil fuels. It was actually a double figure. And in 2016, in the same year, that was the 5th consecutive year when investment in the renewable was actually doubled. And what about the final energy consumption? Renewable energy account for 18.2% of the final energy consumption in the world. And I would like to highlight the wind sector as well. Wind right now, the installed capacity in the world is 539 gigawatt. That means it actually feeds the 5% of the electricity demand in the world. And we have seen some countries perform tremendously. I would like to mention about Denmark. Right now, 48 to 50% of energy, the electricity, is being produced from the wind energy. And wind energy has actually replaced the carbon of the quantum of 189 million tons only in the year 2017. So that shows the impact of wind energy in the world. Different countries set different targets. Germany has set 64% of share in the energy mix. European Union, 27% of share in the energy mix by 2030. Similarly, Denmark, as I mentioned, they are now generating 50% of their own capacity through wind only. And our neighboring countries, India, for example, they set target for 30 gigawatt to be generated in the offshore wind. So this is what the world is doing, and we had to be in tandem with that. But this is not the only reason to go for renewables. We have other compelling reasons here in Pakistan which actually provide a thrust to us to switch from the fossil fuels to renewable energy technologies. The outflows. Now, since last 4 years, we developed RNG through quantum of 4,800 megawatt and coal at 5,750 megawatt. So what is the situation in the outflows? The LNG causes $2.64 billion of outflows per annum. And similarly, the coal, $1.64 billion annually. So if you combine, it's almost $4 billion. And we know that every year, the import bill, the percentage is increasing. In the last year, it was 30%, and our import bill was $12.92 billion. That's only from the petroleum products outflow. And the trade deficit, we all know, is around $15 billion. So it's all about your dependence on the imported resources and the outflows. And what we need to do in the meantime is to construct a way out towards building indigenous national economy. And definitely, in that regard, renewables play a key role. These are the indepletable and convenient resources you have. Along with that, in renewables, in wind, there is no infrastructure cost like port handling, like transportation cost of the fuel, and making terminals like LNG. So these infrastructure hiccups are no more there. Now I would like to give you a snapshot of the wind energy progression in the country. Right now we have 23 projects operational with around 1184 megawatt installed. Last year we crossed the threshold of 1000 megawatt wind. So what to do next? We in AEDB are ready for the master strokes. We are here to go for the mass deployment, and the resource mapping is underway, and we have satellite imaging where new wind corridors have been discovered in Sindh, in Balochistan, even with the better wind dynamics. So we assure our fullest cooperation, and we are quite capacitated enough to take along with the government targets whatever being set for us in terms of the higher percentage of renewables in Pakistan. Now coming towards the hiccups and challenges, I will quickly go through the problems. The first thing is said that we don't need power because we are in surplus. Our demand and supply projections are showing us something. In fact, if we are in surplus, nevertheless we should shift for renewables, because right now we are getting power from some conventional plants at 14 cents and 15 cents, more than that, and right now the new tariff announced by the NEPRA cost plus in wind is below 5 cents. Why not to close those projects and shift that demand to renewables and wind? It's a very possibility that can be done so far. Then coming towards the base load, let me disillusion you very clearly. We, renewable energy, do not compete with the base load. You have enough space to run the rest of the projects. I mean, if we are asking for 30%, 25% share by 2030, it's manageable because you have a certain amount of spinning reserves, and you can go along with that. Then the transmission line, now we started issuing LOIs for the hybridized system. We are encouraging all the wind sponsors projects to hybridize with solar, and with that the capacity factor is going to increase to 50 to 55%. that gives you enough margin and justification to lay down the transmission line for those projects. In today's world, it's not that easy in the name of the green transmission lines, which are specifically designed to evacuate power, renewable power. Financing can be arranged. Now, finally, from here onwards, as I mentioned, 1184 megawatt installed, we are going for the mass scale. The strong recommendation from our side is the ownership and commitment by the government. We definitely encourage to set targets and give ownership to the wind energy in this country. And secondly, we have to learn and adopt the modern modalities and methods to integrate the variable renewables with the rest of the conventional energy. There's very much possibility. And lastly, for any policy to conceive in this country, energy security and indigenized economy must be the key preferences. And your policy framework should be such as that it should not be frequently reversible. Your policies must be solid, must be robust, and must be reliable and dependable. My final words. In mid-80s, we discovered charcoal. And we started boasting that we have 2 billion tons available of the lignite, and we can manage so much of power, and we can generate 30,000 megawatt, 300,000 megawatt of power for the next 20 years. What really happened? Not a single project came from the coal, lignite, and this is 2018. In mid-80s, we discovered the huge hydro potential, 50,000 megawatt. We couldn't develop a single network, a grid from the northern areas to think about the evacuating that power. Not a single project came after Tarbela. So my fear is this: the FET of renewables should not witness the same thing. Now, today we are talking and we are boasting that we have thousands of megawatt potential available here in Pakistan, but until and unless we don't harness, we don't transform that potential into projects, I think it will affect nothing. So I would like to share my thoughts in this regard, that we should quickly think about strategizing renewable in this country and thinking about the higher share. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a great pleasure to hear your clear words.